All right, guys, man here, and I will have to say this honestly. This has been one of my worst days living up here in Harvard, Connecticut. A lot of weird stuff going on. I worked like 13 and a half hours last night, got home. I'm going on checking my banking account, and then I see that they withdrew like $2,400, and I'm trying to figure out what, I call the bank today. Oh, it's a banking error. Don't worry about it. And then all of a sudden they tell me, well, we inadvertently, throughout the last 2 years, had deposited like a total of $2,400 onto your account. We need it back. It's like, you need it back. You made the mistake. You're blaming me. Right here. All right, TNA Impact last night, guys. I didn't watch it last night, but I watched it today. And I will say this: the first 20 minutes were like two segments. Um, there was only 4 matches last night. Now, I didn't have a problem with this. I thought the segments that they did come out and start with were pretty good. We did see Kazarian get beat up by Lashley, Kenny King, and MVP early in the early going, and it was just to show what were things to come later on. But then we did see that MVP came out with Bobby Lashley, Kenny King, and I'll tell you one thing. I mean, I was a big fan of Kenny King. This guy is like an arrogant sucker right now, and right about now, I'd like to see him get his ass kicked because this guy is really, really arrogant. He thinks he's better than everybody, and nonetheless, as far as MVP goes, I mean, the guy's been around for a while. We all know his demeanor and his personality, and we all know Bobby Lashley as well. But Kenny King just came across to me like somebody needs to slap him in the face. But anyway, so they did their segment. MVP stated why he did what he did and whatnot, and we move on. And it just, for 20 minutes, we saw interaction of wrestling. We saw Austin Aries pretty much challenge MVP to a match. MVP accepted, which was pretty good, and I was happy, pretty much to see that. But yeah, a lot of just there was just so much stuff going on. You can't remember everything. Excuse me, I gotta unplug my phone. But you can't remember everything. So anyway, after all is said and done, there was a TNA Knockouts title open challenge with Angelina Love. Had an open challenge. Of course, she's with Velvet Sky. And who comes out? Brittany. Brittany really didn't have a chance, guys, as everybody knows. I mean, you got Velvet on one side, you got Angelina on the other. Brittany gave it her best shot. Angelina just, did what she had to do. Velvet distracted the referee, and Brittany was done. Gail Kim came in, tried to clean house. Enough said there. So, then we had the match. Austin Aries, MVP. I'm so happy that tonight we saw once again the guys that are really involved in TNA because it makes it so people want to see every week because these guys are on. Austin Aries is one of my favorite guys. He's like a CM Punk kind of guy in TNA, and he took it to town to MVP. But again, with the stable that MVP has with Lashley and Kenny King, they had a pretty good showing, throughout until, everybody else kind of, sort of interfered and whatnot. And Aries ended up winning by disqualification, but that isn't the way, he wanted to win. But not a bad match overall. But again, Tonight was all about MVP, Kenny King, and Bobby Lashley. It was basically about the fact that these three are going to really come together and run TNA. Okay? Um, Falls Count Anywhere match. Bram supposedly talked to MVP and set it up. So Willow and Magnus have a Falls Count Anywhere match. Now, Magnus, he's on that side where you don't know whether he's going to turn face or he's going to remain heel. But they're involved in their match and whatnot, and there goes Bram, gets that frigging crowbar again, hands it to Magnus. He did hit Jeff Hardy once with it, and then the second time around, Bram wanted him to hit him in the head with it. Magnus tossed the crowbar once again out of the ring, and then quickly Willow pinned Magnus, and then Magnus and Bram had words as they were leaving. So, I still say Magnus is going to turn face quite soon down the road. I have to get into this, and I really didn't want to do this, but there was a segment with MVP, Lashley and Kenny King, and Dixie Carter comes out along with EC3, and it looked like there was going to be a confrontation. And what it actually turned out to be that Dixie wanted to make a proposal to MP3, but before she got the opportunity to make the proposal, Bully Ray's music hit. He came out, and basically MP3, Lashley, Kenny King split, and believe it or not, Bully Ray got thrown through the table by Ethan Carter III. Don't make sense. Don't make sense. But anyway, there's a lot of little things that went on in TNA last night that were pretty good. Gunner visited Samuel Shaw at the institution. And I sort of like that segment because Gunner was trying to relate to Samuel Shaw as far as when Gunner was in the service and whatnot. And, I think what we're going to see, because we do need more faces on TNA, I think we're going to see Samuel Shaw eventually, turn towards Gunner and take his advice and become a face once he departs from the institution. So I think that's pretty good. Then we saw a segment with James Storm and Mr. Anderson, of course. James Storm, guzzling down the beer, and Anderson and him had a contest for $100 who could drink the more beer and blah, 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 blah. Well, Anderson obviously wasn't actually drinking beer. Storm was. They both acted messed up, got into a little bit of a fight. Anderson ended up coming on top. And that's, it was entertaining. It was entertaining. But overall, TNA was pretty good. Pretty good. Non-title match, Lashley and Eric Young. Well, is what it is. You knew Eric Young, being the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, going against Bobby Lashley, that Eric Young wouldn't win. It was a non-title match. When you hear non-title, you know the other guy's going to win for the most part. And of course, Kenny King again, MVP again, get involved. It was an MVP, Kenny King, Bobby Lashley night on TNA. I enjoyed the show. Like I said, there was 4 matches, but I enjoyed the segments. I thought they meant a lot. I think they're, the meaning for them is heading towards Slammiversary. Yeah, I liked it. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are going to say, here you go, another shitty show. I'm a wrestling fan. I watch wrestling. I will watch it. I will debate it. I will opinionate on it. And I thought it was an okay show. Not the greatest, but it was an okay show. So, anyway, peace out, everybody. This is the Iceman. We'll see you later on. Have a great Friday.